Welcome everyone to the Empower and Engage your learners online behind the scenes webinar, which is a follow-on from the one that we did a couple of weeks back from the learner's point of view. So it's all about adding interactivity, engagement to your online courses, to replace face-to-face courses that you may have done in the past. And we're looking more at tools that are native to Moodle, to Tara, to Moodle Workplace, rather than the webinar tools like Zoom and all of those. So, of course, those are possible to use, but not always as easy to get full interaction between your learners as you might want. So yes, before we move on further, there's a Q&A section where you can put any comments in, questions in as we go along, but I won't be looking at it during the webinar. We'll have a Q&A section at the end. Okay, so now, moving on, just to give a brief introduction of Enovation. We are fully ISO 27001 certified, and we work generally with open source platforms, learning platforms. So there's the Moodle, which is, well, the world's most popular learning platform. Initially targeted towards educational institutions. So you've got an awful lot of different tools, and there's a huge community out there, Moodle community. So it is continually improved on and developed on. So you have the benefit of having multiple plugins that can be added to improve your experience. Then there's Moodle Workplace, which is a relatively new platform. It is based on Moodle with added features. You know, there's organizational structure, dynamic rules for automation. There's custom reports, you know, for whole platform reporting, rather than with Moodle, it's more kind of course by course. So lots of different features there. And then Tara is, it branched off from Moodle many years ago, and they have it's a very robust learning management system with kind of compliance and or lots of different, very powerful reporting. And you can assign learning via audiences with different rules and rules. And you know, it's a very powerful platform. Then Aura Talent is all about succession planning. So it's a talent management solution, and it can be kind of added to Tara platform. That's usually the way that's done. So, okay. Then our services, we do, of course, consulting, content, development, SCORM packaging, all of that. So then software development. So if you want, you know, real customization of your platform, we cover the whole 360. Training, very important, because we want you to be able to have control over your own platform and the way that you develop learning and organize yourself. Then, of course, we have their hosting, and as I say, 27001 certified. So, you know, real fully data protected. And of course, throughout your journey with us, there's support the whole way through. Our offices, we're in Ireland, of course, and also in France, Poland, and the USA. And there's just a list of the some popular clients of ours down along the bottom of the screen. So now the main topic of the webinar itself. So we're looking at ways of making your courses more engaging and interactive. And we're doing that by using the three key principles of UDL, or Universal Design for Learning. So that means we have multiple means of representation. So offering different ways of acquiring the knowledge. You know, often we just present the information just in the one way, and maybe that suits the learner, maybe it doesn't suit the learner. So what we want to do is offer, say, a video version and a written version, because everybody's got their different ways of assimilating information. And then it is multiple means of expression, meaning that the learners can demonstrate what they know in different ways. So you might give them the option of uploading an audio recording, or answering questions in a, you know, typed online, a written version. So not everybody is comfortable using certain means of expression. They might prefer to just, you know, to record themselves rather than actually filling in forms and, you know, ticking boxes and things like that. So we're giving them options. And then it's multiple means of engagement. So same, you might have some people that really like to interact with others, and others, some people that like a lot of, you know, imagery, movement, yeah, flashy design, and some people like just to work with simple black and white text. So in the course, we're going to be looking at, well, more mobile friendly rather than mobile first. Mobile first would mean that your design is really nice and simple, basic, and you know, image light, text light, clear format, and everything accessible offline as well. So in case people have bad, you know, internet connection, for example. So that would mean that a quiz would have to be deferred feedback, in that they answer all the questions and then they can reconnect the internet to synchronize. But it's more interesting for the learners if you use different other types of quizzes, more interactive. So we're looking more at mobile friendly rather than mobile first here. So we're going to be looking at differentiation, meaning that we design the learning to suit different people, and personalization, meaning that we give the learners options. So we present different versions and we allow the learners to choose which version they want to do. And then we're looking at active engagement. So that would be through the assignment, forum. Forum is not just for giving information, the lesson, the quiz, and H5P. H5P, now that is, well, at the moment it's a plugin, but the latest version of Moodle has it as native. It actually has it as one of that list of activities and resources right from the get-go. Here at Enovation, we generally install it by default for new clients anyway. So we'll consider it as native. Then creative engagement. There's a few different options there. Database is handy for if you need to reference different resources, different sites, different books, and your learners could source these themselves as part of projects, for example. There's the glossary, which is exactly that, but the learners can add to it themselves. And then workshop, that's really interactive in that it's peer assessment. There are 3 steps to it, where the learner submits, the other members of the class peer assess, and then the teacher assesses. So it would be more for classrooms where there's a lot of interaction normally. So, and that would be the online version. We're going to be looking at the wiki. So that would be where, with group projects, for example, people can, work on pages together, and you can see histories, the history of changes made. So, okay, I'm going to close this down, and we're going to go straight into our course, Empower and Engage as a teacher. This person here actually has the role of course creator. So the role of course creator is you can do exactly that. You don't have access to any other elements of the admin on the site, but you can create new courses and you can edit the courses that you have created, not other people's courses. So here we see nice course, and this is the course I used for the last webinar, but I have adapted it a little bit. So here we can see some nice images, small images to keep it nice and mobile friendly, and introductions to each section. So if I expand, then we can see the exercises in the section. Now this layout, I'm in Moodle Workplace at the moment, which is a great platform, and I'm using the Workplace list format, but in fact, you can achieve the exact same thing using either the collapsed topics format or the normal, regular, basic topics format, if you choose to show one topic per page. So if I turn editing on, because this is it, we're going behind the scenes as the teacher. So if I go to edit settings, as if I was, creating a new course, and I go down to the course format. Okay, so work-based list format, if I was to change that to topics format, and then in topics format, choose, instead of show all sections on one page, you show one section per page. And that, with that, you'll achieve the same thing. Okay, so I'm just going to cancel to get back out to there. Okay, because what I did was basically in this topic, I edit the summary of the topic or the section. And this here is achievable using the buttons, all the buttons in the editor. So if I just click to add a table, and then in the table, in one cell, I click to add an image. And this image, I have given a description so that, anybody that can't see an image can, you can have the description of it. For, the text to speech, for example. And I've chosen alignment left. That's all. Just chose alignment left for it to be nicely, aligned over at the side. And then here you just type in what you want. So it's literally just adding in a table, add an image in one side, and add text in the other side. And then you can achieve something that looks really nice, really good. And it gives a nice look to your course page. So I'm expanding that, and you'll see here in each, on the side, first of all, we've got some blocks. So we've got latest announcements. Any messages that are put in the default announcement forum can appear here. You can choose to have this displaying, or you can remove it if you want to expand the course out to full size. And then upcoming events here. These appear because I added in due dates for the assignment, the speaking exercise, for the quiz, and for the form. I added in due dates, so they appear in the calendar. And if I was to click on Go to Calendar, if I click on that, I'll open it in a new tab, and it will show the full calendar with descriptions because the dates are attached to activities in the course. So you see the full information for each of the activities with the link to the course or to the activity there, go to activity. So very handy to guide users along. Okay, now straight into the first speaking exercise. What we've got for the speaking exercise is, when we looked at this last time, we added in documents to help the learners, and we added in options to record audio or to upload files or to add just wording. So if I'm in as a learner now, we can see in the speaking exercise, this learner submitted for grading and added in a file, uploaded a file, and added in audio recording directly in the online editor, because that's the option that we gave. So this is it. Right there, we click on this button here to record audio. So very simple, very easy for the learners to do that. And there they can add files as well. So if I go back in as the teacher, I can then grade the learner. Okay, so there it is, Barry, with his recording, with his speaking exercise. And if I go in to grade him, he didn't upload a PDF, so there's nothing going to appear on this side, but we do have his audio recordings right here to listen to. If I click this button, I can expand this, and we created a rubric. So we can click here to say, give him results, and we can add comments if we want to. Go, and an overall comment if we want, and feedback files as well. And that's him graded. Now, if I go back to, so we want to look at the settings for this, see how it was created. Okay, so we gave the description of the exercise, additional files, we uploaded files for the learners to be able to view. We set availability and due date here, so they appear in the calendar. And remind me to grade by, so this is for the teacher, that will show in the calendar. We have ticked for submission types online or file submission. And for feedback types, we have ticked feedback comments, annotated PDF, if they upload PDF, feedback files. And that's why it's possible to upload a file when we're grading. And then for activity completion, this is very important. For all activities, we need to set automatic completion. So we choose when conditions are met. And in this case, we have chosen they must submit to the activity. We can also set they must achieve a grade. But grade now, this is the big one. So under grade, we have chosen, rather than just using simple direct grading, we've chosen a rubric. And when you choose that, as soon as you click on save, it'll send you to creating your rubric. Okay, so we're going to look at the rubric. So from our menu, we have advanced grading. And here we see the rubric. And if I click on edit here, So this is me editing one that I previously created, but it would be the exact same button that would then say create a new one. And this is all you need to do if you want to add a criterion. So this would be when you're creating your first one, same thing. Used question words. Okay, so we say no points for no, they didn't. We got 2 points for a few, and lots, 3 points for lots. And that's how you do it. That's how simple it is. You literally just click, and if I want to edit, I just click again, and I can edit to choose the amount of points, and you can then choose whether you want to display the rubric or not to the learners, and you can have a description that displays as well. So it's actually, you know, they call it advanced grading, but it's actually quite straightforward to set up. So that's the assignment. So the big thing there is we're giving lots of options to the learners, lots of options to the graders, and using a rubric to actually make life an awful lot easier in the long run for graders. And it means that the learners see that rubric if you make it available to them, and they can see what exactly is required of them. Here, this is a page activity that displays those same documents, but on a page rather than as PDF documents to download, just to make it very easy and clear for everyone. Okay, so we'll move on to here. These are 2 lesson activities. And in this one here, we've got the written explanation, and this one is a video explanation. So we're giving the learners options to do one or the other. And this quiz here, this knowledge check, has got a lock symbol on it because the learner must complete either the written explanation or the video explanation before getting access to the quiz. So if I click here, so for the written explanation, this is a lesson activity, and we can see we've got 3 buttons here. How to, so this is, you know, how to ask questions in the past simple. There's 3 pages here. This is a branch, like a tree. We're at the root, and this is one branch of 3 pages of how-tos, and then we've got common verbs, we've got common irregular verbs and common regular verbs, so 2 pages in this branch. And then once you have viewed all the pages, then you can finish the lesson. Okay, so if I click now on the how-to, it'll bring me to the next page, how to formulate the past simple. And then we move on to how to make the simple past negative. And if I click in edit, this is the background of it. So basically, you add a page. You can add a question page or a content page. Those are the 2 main ones. And then you can have those buttons. You add the buttons. These are the 3 button links. These are where they go to. Okay, so introduction, this one first goes to how to formulate the past simple, this page. Then it links to how to make the past simple negative, this page. And then it links to how to ask a question, this page. And then when you've done that, it links back to the introduction again. So then you can click on the second button. You can go to the common regular verbs, this page. You go from there to common irregular verbs, this page, and then you go back to the introduction when you're done. And when you've finished everything, you click on the last button to exit. So it's end of lesson. And that's how you cover all pages and you complete the lesson. So that's simple branching. So from the introduction, you've got 3 branches, the how-to, these 3 pages, the verbs, these 2 pages in that branch, and then you exit the lesson. And if I then look at the settings, okay, so what we're looking at here is in particular activity completion for this. And we're saying in this case that the learners must reach the end of the lesson to complete the activity. And we can say must require a time spent, must do the activity for at least, in this case it's just demo, so I put 10 seconds, but you can choose whatever number you want of seconds, minutes, hours, days. You can actually have days. I don't know why anyone would spend days in a lesson, but it's one of the options. So that in particular, that the time, required time spent, is very handy when you want to add videos and you want to make sure that people watch the full video. So instead of the written explanation, I'm going to go into this one, which is a video explanation. And in this one, we have got 2 pages. Here's the video. When you watch the video, you click next. And I've added just a question page. I have watched the video. You choose yes, of course. If you choose no, we get sent, please watch the video to complete the lesson. You click continue and you get sent back to the video to watch it. If instead I choose yes, I click submit and I get the response of thank you and continue. And it's congratulations, you've reached the end of the lesson, and a link back to the main course page. Obviously, a learner wouldn't see these links here. The teacher does, reports, etc. Essay questions, because you can have essay questions as well. And so you can set the required amount of time in the lesson. You can set that to the duration of the video. And therefore you can be sure they're not completed for this lesson unless they have watched the video in its entirety. And you also have, you can require a grade, and they can only have received the grade if they ticked yes that they have watched the video. So nice way of very simply and easily making sure that they have watched the full video and that they have confirmed that they have watched it. Now, so there are 2 examples of how a lesson can be used. A lesson is very powerful. I mean, you can have crazy branching, and you know, whether a question is answered correct or incorrect, sent to one page or another page, and so you can get something really, really engaging in that. Then we go to the quiz that is only accessible after one or the other versions of the explanation is complete. And in the quiz, we have chosen to use it is interactive with multiple tries format. So that is in the question behavior, interactive with multiple tries. Now there are many different versions of a quiz that you can use. If you want to give offline access, it would have to be deferred feedback. Okay, deferred feedback. This CBM here, that actually stands for certainty-based marking. And it means that basically the learners, when they answer questions, they say they have to choose how certain they are that they have selected the right answer, which is actually, it could be really interesting in that their grade is adapted according to how certain they are that they're correct. And so it's really on trust in the learner, and it can produce some interesting results. So you might consider using that. Deferred feedback then is where they get that at the end. Everything, feedback, results, everything is at the end after they submitted to the quiz. Immediate is question by question, but they still only have one go at each question. So, you know, they answer the question, get their immediate feedback, but they only have the one try. Adaptive then is that they can have multiple tries and they can see whether it's correct or not. Interactive with multiple tries that you are using means that you can have hints, feedback, penalties. In fact, you can add penalties or not if they need 1 hint, 2 hint, you know, or more. So, and then you have, of course, your activity completion, and we can choose to require a pass grade. Okay, so, but something that I don't think many people actually do is when you create your quiz, you create it through the question bank. This is where the questions should be created. Okay. So what we've done here, this is just, you know, only 3 questions because it's for, you know, just demo. So, and then there's the optional essay question, because what we are allowing is for the users to answer quiz questions, you know, the multiple choice or whatever you choose, but then we're giving them a separate option to answer by typing in directly, you know, free text, or uploading, recording themselves directly, or uploading audio recording or video. It's basically an essay question and therefore manually graded. And it gives your learners that option. So if I click in to edit one of the questions, we can see how we can add hints to questions. Okay, so if I scroll down, we've got the usual there. Now here we've got the answers. So this is choice 1. The answer is had. The grade for that is 100%. And the feedback for this individual answer. So it's not feedback for the question, it's feedback for the actual individual answer. And so we've got yes, had is the past tense of the verb have. So, and then we've got their choice 2, and the answer, feedback for this answer is no, lost is the past tense of the verb lose. And so for each choice, rather than for the question itself, for each choice, we've got feedback. And then combined feedback, this is the overall for the question. And we've just put in your answer is correct or partially correct. Those are there by default, but we can edit those. And then we've got here multiple tries. This is the part that nobody really looks at, but we've got here, so penalty for each incorrect try, and we can choose what the penalty might be. There are 3 answers, so that's why I've put in, you know, 33%. Hint 1, it's a very common irregular verb because the answer is to have. And then we've actually got options of to clear the incorrect responses or to show the number of correct responses. So really you can get very detailed in what you can do. And hint 2, you didn't lose anything, so the answer is not lost. You have already finished sleeping, so the answer is not, I think it was slept. So, and you can add other hints as well. So you can really help your users along to make sure that they get the right answer, because this is a knowledge check, it's not an exam. So it depends on how you want to use the quiz. Now that's where we created the questions in the question bank. And then in the quiz itself, we click to add the questions from the question bank, and we chose random questions from the bank 2 random questions. So they appear there, not choosing individual questions. We didn't create the questions right here. We created them in the bank, and then we selected 2 to appear at random, and then we added the optional essay question. And this essay question then, basically after the two multiple choice questions appear, we have this question that will appear saying, if you prefer to answer by recording audio or typing free text, please do so. And we give a little guidance. And we can see there that it is possible to type in directly there. So, and then we've got the file upload option that we've given as well. So they can upload audio or video and add it there. And that means that for any learner, see that we've put in 0 marks for the optional one. So we can actually manually grade and give them a mark. Whereas if they answer just the usual multiple choice, they're graded automatically because those are the ones taken into account. So those people would be graded automatically, they continue on, and people that need to answer differently, they would get 0 and therefore need to be, you would see as a teacher that they need to be seen to, and you can grade them manually. So you're giving everybody their option. Okay. So in fact, if I click into preview that quiz, you can see exactly what I mean. Okay, so we have 1 question, multiple choice appearing randomly. Next question, multiple choice appearing randomly, and then the optional question for anybody that needs to answer like that. And if I choose this answer and I check it, then it'll show me the feedback for that individual response. And your answer is incorrect. The overall, the general feedback for the question, and the hint, a very common irregular verb, and try again. And I got up early and lost a long hot shower. I check, and it gives me the feedback, and it says you didn't lose anything. So it's the second hint. And try again. And I had a long hot shower. And it says yes. Answer is correct. Correct answer is try another question like this one. So, and then we've got similar words, same words, but a different question. So really very, very interactive. Every chance possible to get the right answer, because it is in fact a knowledge check. It's helping your learners move along. So then we've got the group project next. We're using a wiki, and the wiki, you can set it as an individual wiki. It's like, you know, we all know Wikipedia. The pages can be edited by anybody. But what's great in using this in a course is that it can be used for group work with a collaborative wiki, and you can see the history of edits. So as teacher, I go in and I can see this is, we've separated the course into groups. So this is all for, this is groups A's work. And what they've done so far is they've got an overview page, and they've actually created a couple of other pages. And they put in, this video could give us some ideas. That was somebody that added that in. And in fact, if I want to see who it was, I can click on history. And I can see that Anne, she made an edit, she added that in, and then there's the version 2, and we can see the difference and we can compare them. So this video could give us some ideas, and then we see that she actually increased the size of the video. That was the edit that she made. So we can see comparisons and we can comment on the students' work. So no comment in there. In fact, if I look at the, I think it's a comment on the main page, but that's how we can see everybody's everybody's work, and then once they have been working as a group on their wiki page, then we've given them the choice, a choice activity here. They have the choice of choosing which section of the project they would like to talk about. So here you choose whether it's theme, location, and accommodation, activities, or target audience and advertising. And we can see that those choices are full because it's one person. We've limited the choice to one person for each topic, because obviously in a group there'll be one person talking about each topic. If I click on edit settings, we can see that. So here we've got limit the number of responses allowed and yes. And we've got option 1, 2, 3 and the limit 1, 1, 1. So that's basically how we set that up. Okay. Then after they've chosen which area of their project they're going to present, they go into the forum, and if we look at the settings of the forum, again, we've divided this by separate groups, and we have chosen to display it in a blog-like format, various different options, and we have chosen a due date, because this is, you know, actual assignment work you have to present. And its description says that you can present audio by preference, but you can do your presentation in whatever way suits. You have that same editor again, where you can upload audio, video, you can record yourself directly, different things. And what we've chosen, what makes it different, is the whole forum grading. And we have chosen their simple direct grading, but we actually have the same options as an assignment activity, marking guide and rubric as well. Okay, and for activity completion, we can choose that they must view the activity, require grading that's already ticked, so whole forum, because we chose that option, and we can say require post discussions replies. No need to require post discussions replies because we have chosen the grading method. So as a teacher, because that's what I'm in as, we can choose grade users. So we see the same type of look as for the assignment activity, and we can give each individual a grade there. So we've got 1 out of 3. This is for Anne, and then we've got Barry has already got a grade of 5, and that is how we grade them. Okay. So actually using forums rather than just for announcements, we can use them for lots and lots of different things, especially group work, because it's just that same editor where they can type in, they can add recordings, you can use in lots of different ways. If you want, you can use, say, for example, you know, the Zoom meetings, and then they can, you know, they can give their presentation during the Zoom meeting after having already worked asynchronously using wikis or forums. You know, they Zoom, if you were to use that, could be kind of the final step, and all of this, the pre-work. And then we've got, so just this is for some real nice interactivity for the users. I've got here, this is a presentation using H5P. And so first page, I just added an image. I can actually expand that. So First page is just an image. Next page is actually an interactive video. So if I was to play the video, we've got a question appearing at this point.
It has fantastic Syrian.
So popped in there. There's the answer, Syrian. And so it's just got a nice look to it for, you know, a bit of nice interactivity. If I click on the settings, then when it's loaded, you see the same editor. There we go. You can record directly. Okay, you can add images, you know, videos, record video. They can add in, you know, insert audio, video. This is what in a forum, for example, a learner would see. So here we have the presentation, and this is how basically you add information. If you just click here, text, we can add our text right there and click done, and the text is appearing here. Well, there it is. It's dark on it's light on dark, dark on light. So we can choose, if I highlight that, there we go, and I'm going to change the color of it and the background of it. So let's see what that does. There we go. So you can see it nice and clearly. And then you can just, you know, you can drag it, move it around, resize it, just like that. Right. So then that's how I added in an image right there. And then on the next page, added in a video right there. And then on the next page, it is a question, which I just clicked that and added in. This one would have been drag the words. So it's drag and drop. I think it's not drag and drop that I used. It was a different one. There we go, drag text. That's the one. And then if I edit that, you can see this is how it's done. And it actually gives you clear instructions as to how to present that. Just italics around each of the words that need to be dragged. So it gives you, in fact, before you type in any wording, there's sample text there already to guide you. So that's nice and handy. Okay. Now I'm going to click out and show you another couple of them. This one here is pure interactive video. So the first one was a presentation. That was the choice of activity. And so here we're doing interactive video instead. And I click on edit settings. Okay. And we've chosen interactive video. Again, we have from the drop down, this is it, the choice of all the different options that you have. There's drag and drop, accordion, you know, flashcards, speak the words. There's so many different options. Dictation, that's one I've used just afterwards. And you actually just, the person has to listen to the word and write down what they hear. So, and there's the audio recorder is included in it. So with interactive video, first thing you do is you choose your video. So, and just click insert. Step 2, add your interactions. There's actually a guide. You can drag and drop your interactions. And in this case, I have chosen to add a crossroads. So when I get to this point, review the words you've heard so far. And if I was to choose juice, it actually sends me to that point in the timeline where they talk about juice. So if I click on to edit that, you've got their choice, and it says go to, and you put in the point in the timeline. Their juice, and it goes to 10 seconds. And that's how you do it. And of course, last choice was no thanks, and you put it to where you are actually in the timeline. So you see that was at 31. I'm there at 30, so I've just put it to like 31 to go to the next point. And then if I put it here, we've got another question, and I've just added in label, click here, chosen it to display as a button, rather than if you have poster, it means it's like the question is open on the screen basically. And then you've got fill in the blank, write the word you see, and you just have their apple in asterisks. And then you've got a few options such as enable show solution button or retry button. Just tick the boxes, and then you've got their action on all wrong or all right. And this is one case sensitive, so I untick that. And that's literally it. That is how you set up an interactive video. So if I do save and display, then it'll load and we can see exactly what that presents as. What's nice about this is that you can have it as just expanded to full screen. You know, it can look really good. You can prevent skipping in the video. I didn't, of course, because you know it wouldn't make sense for this for the webinar. So if I click then to juice, we said that it was at 10 seconds. So if I click that, it pops back to 10 seconds in the video. And again here, apple, and we do click here, write the word you see, and I type apple and check, and great, continue. And the video plays, continue playing automatically. Okay. Okay. So now, just a couple of options. We chose the flashcard. That was from the list just because it's nice. And if you click the audio, we hear the word schnitzel. We turn and we see Hungary. We click next. We hear the word sushi, turn, and we see Japan. So that was really just choosing that flashcard option from the list in H5P. And then the other here is write the words. This is dictation. And listen carefully and write the words you hear. And we just click food. And this one was meat. And I'll get this one wrong. This should be vegetable. And this one is fruit. And a check. And I see we have made one mistake. Good job, nearly there. And 3 out of 4, so solution on retry. And if I go to the settings, we can see how this is set up. We can see everything, in fact, is very nice, simple, easy to set up. Dictation is the one I chose from the list, write words, and then you have this here. The first one, this is optional. Sound sample, and in fact, you can use the audio recorder, record yourself, and pop it in. And that's how you can add the audio. You don't have to record it separately. I mean, all computers have microphone, audio recorders, but you actually don't have to use that. You can just record yourself directly online, and then you give the text that they need to write. And it says there, you add a vertical line between correct alternatives. So I just put a capital and lowercase just to be sure. And that is literally it. And then here you've got your overall feedback. In each of the different H5P types, again, like a quiz, you can have feedback. And what I put here, because there were 4 audio files, So I just did 25%, hard luck, try again. And this was there, what I got, good job, nearly there, because I got one incorrect. And that is it. And then activity completion, you can have a grade, must receive a grade to complete the activity, and you can actually set a grade to pass, in this case 3 out of a maximum of 4. And then of course you can see the reporting on all of this. In this menu here, it's displaying slightly differently to what you might be used to, but what we want to see is activity completion report right here. So we've got certain, like the knowledge check, where there was a pass grade. My favorite food, the presentation of the H5P, there's a pass grade. And this one here, the dictation, we said that we just saw the pass grade was 3 out of 4. So Anne has received her grade of, she has got at least 3 out of 4 for that exercise. And here we see this now, this date here, I put in an expected due date, expected completed by date in the activity completion section. In any activity or resource, you can have an expected completion date, but it's only for the teacher to see. It's not for students. It's just a nice guide for the teachers to help them along. So that's why it appears there. Then the other report that we would look at, again, through our course administration menu, is the gradebook. So, because I don't know if everybody uses the gradebook as much as they should, but anything in a course that has a grade would automatically be popped into the gradebook, and therefore you can see a report on the actual grades that each user received. So this is for the speaking exercise, and we can see a grade there for the knowledge check quiz and for the forum. That was the grade that Barry got of 5, we saw that. And the favorite food and write the words. So Anne did get all correct. She got 4 out of 4 for the dictation. And then for vocabulary, that was the interactive video, that was 1. So we can see the course total there for each of them. So that's how you can follow progress, specifically on activities completed and on and the actual grades in it. So there is a lot there, but you can see that they are activities that you would know already. The assignment activity, the lesson is one that, and not so many people use perhaps, but it is really good one to get to know a bit better, especially because of the time limits in there, and then using the quiz in different ways, and using the wiki, especially for group work, and then following on with a choice or a forum. And then the H5P, obviously, that gives an awful lot of interactivity and different options and all of that. So it's very nice for the learners. And so now you can see how all of that might be set up by a teacher or course creator. Okay, so an awful lot there. You may not have remembered everything, but of course you can watch the video back again. And if you haven't seen the first one where we went through this whole course as a learner, it might be worth it going and taking a look at that on our YouTube channel. So just type in enovation.ie in YouTube. So I'm going to look at see if there are any questions now at this point. So there's my number, by the way, the phone number. If you ring that, I mean, working from home, obviously, but we have got a secretary that would transfer calls to my mobile. and then my email address as well, of course. So let me just reduce that down a bit so I can see the Q&A if anybody has any questions to ask. So, I see look there. Okay. Okay, so does anybody have any questions at this stage? I know we've gone sort of over time, but that was unavoidable. Okay. So, okay. Derek says no, thank you, all good. Yeah, well, I mean, there is a lot. There is a lot in that, and it's more a question of, you know, thinking about what options we have looked at there and how they might suit your particular case. What we've seen might not be the most suitable, but they might launch a sort of a brainstorming in helping you think about what would be the option to use. So don't hesitate to get in touch if you want to look at any of the different activities, different options in more detail. And as I say, just take a look at our YouTube channel, Enovation.ie, and you will see under videos, you'll see all of the previous webinars that we have done, including the learner view of this one here. Okay, and of course this one will be up soon enough, so you'll be able to review and pause and take notes as you go along. Okay, well, thank you very much for everyone attending, and I will hopefully see you again soon for another webinar on some other completely different topic.